Hi, I'm Dr. Mohit Kara. I'm a professor of urology at Baylor College of Medicine, and my work focuses on men's health, testosterone therapy, and sexual wellness. For over 2 decades, I've been helping men understand how their bodies change with age, and what practical steps they can take to maintain strong physical, mental, and sexual performance. When I talk about the importance of hormonal health for men in their 60s and 70s, I always remind patients that hormones are the body's internal messaging system. They don't just affect sexual performance. They influence energy, mood, muscle mass, metabolism, and even brain function. As men age, the most commonly discussed hormone is testosterone, and for good reason. Testosterone levels typically peak in the late teens and early 20s, and then slowly begin to decline after the age of 30. By the time a man reaches his 60s or 70s, testosterone can be significantly lower than it was in his youth. That decline can manifest as fatigue, weaker erections, reduced libido, loss of muscle, and even more subtle issues like irritability, poor concentration, or a sense of low motivation. But testosterone is only part of the story. I encourage men to think about hormonal health as a broader ecosystem. For example, thyroid hormones are critical for regulating metabolism and energy production. If thyroid function is off, a man might feel sluggish, cold, or mentally foggy. Symptoms that could easily be mistaken for simply getting older, when in reality they are correctable imbalances. Similarly, cortisol, the stress hormone, plays a huge role. Elevated cortisol over long periods can suppress testosterone, disrupt sleep, and weaken immune function. If a man is chronically stressed or not sleeping well, his hormonal balance suffers, and performance inevitably declines. One of the biggest misconceptions I see is that low testosterone automatically means a man needs testosterone replacement therapy. While replacement therapy can be life-changing for some, it's not the only approach. Many men actually benefit first from addressing lifestyle factors that suppress hormone production. Things like obesity, excessive alcohol intake, poor sleep hygiene, and chronic stress. For instance, carrying too much belly fat leads to higher levels of the enzyme aromatase, which converts testosterone into estrogen. That can create an imbalance where testosterone is low and estrogen is relatively high, further impairing performance and vitality. Simply reducing weight, especially around the midsection, can naturally restore healthier hormone levels without any medication. It's also important to remember that hormones work in networks. When testosterone falls, growth hormone often declines as well, and insulin sensitivity may worsen. That combination accelerates muscle loss, weight gain, and fatigue. This is why I recommend that men not only test their testosterone, but also evaluate thyroid function, fasting glucose, HbA1c, estradiol, and cortisol levels. A full hormonal assessment provides a clearer picture of what's happening in the body and allows for a targeted strategy rather than guessing. I often tell men in their 70s that the goal is not to chase the hormone levels of a 20-year-old, but to optimize levels for their age in a way that supports quality of life. That might mean modest testosterone therapy, it might mean lifestyle adjustments, or in some cases, it may involve addressing sleep apnea, depression, or thyroid imbalance. The point is, hormonal health is central to stamina and performance. If your hormones are out of balance, no supplement, food, or quick fix will give you lasting results. Start with a thorough evaluation, address the root causes, and then build from there. When we discuss stamina and performance in men over the age of 60 or 70, one of the most overlooked yet essential factors is cardiovascular health. At its core, performance is about circulation. Whether we are talking about the stamina to walk up a hill, the endurance to play with grandchildren, or the ability to perform sexually, it all depends on the ability of the heart to pump blood efficiently through healthy blood vessels. The vascular system is the highway that delivers oxygen and nutrients to every organ, and if that system is compromised, the consequences show up quickly in energy, recovery, and vitality. What many men do not realize is that erectile dysfunction, for example, is often the first warning sign of cardiovascular disease. The arteries in the penis are much smaller than the coronary arteries that feed the heart. That means if there is even a small degree of plaque buildup or endothelial dysfunction, the perineal arteries will show symptoms first. A man may notice that his erections are weaker or less reliable, and often he assumes this is purely a sexual health issue, when in reality it may be the earliest indicator of a much larger cardiovascular problem. By the time a man reaches his 70s, the risk of heart disease and stroke increases dramatically, and so does the need to maintain vascular health if he wants to preserve stamina. The good news is that circulation can be improved at any age. Endothelial cells, which line the blood vessels, produce nitric oxide, a natural compound that relaxes arteries and allows for better blood flow. However, factors like high cholesterol, smoking, diabetes, and hypertension damage the endothelium and reduce nitric oxide availability. This is why men who suffer from these conditions often complain of fatigue, lack of energy, and reduced performance. Simple daily habits, like eating foods rich in flavonoids, omega-3 fatty acids, and antioxidants, help restore endothelial function and improve vascular flexibility. Dark leafy greens, berries, nuts, and even moderate amounts of dark chocolate can support nitric oxide production and improve blood vessel health. Exercise is another cornerstone of cardiovascular health. Men in their 60s and 70s sometimes hesitate to start exercising, thinking it is too late or too dangerous. The reality is that even modest physical activity, like brisk walking for 30 minutes a day, significantly improves circulation, lowers blood pressure, and boosts energy. Aerobic exercise strengthens the heart muscle, while resistance training improves muscle mass, insulin sensitivity, and blood flow. The combination of these two types of exercise creates a stronger cardiovascular system that supports both daily stamina and sexual performance. I also emphasize the importance of regular checkups. Men should know their blood pressure, cholesterol profile, fasting glucose, and inflammatory markers. Ignoring these numbers is like driving a car without ever checking the oil or the tires. Over time, silent damage accumulates, and eventually, it will limit performance in every aspect of life. Medications such as statins or antihypertensives can be life-saving when necessary, but in many cases, lifestyle modification provides just as powerful an impact without side effects. Ultimately, cardiovascular health is the foundation upon which all other aspects of male stamina rest. A man cannot expect to feel vigorous in the morning, enjoy intimacy at night, or maintain energy throughout the day if his circulation is poor. By prioritizing heart and vascular health, men not only add years to their life, but they also add life to their years. Strong circulation is strong performance, and that principle never changes with age. When we look at stamina and performance in men over 60 or 70, lifestyle habits are often the most powerful and most controllable factors. Hormones and cardiovascular health set the foundation, but how a man lives day to day ultimately determines how those systems function over time. The truth is, no pill, supplement, or quick remedy can outwork poor sleep, chronic stress, unhealthy eating, or lack of physical movement. Performance is not just built in the gym or in the doctor's office. It's created in the choices made from morning to night. Sleep is one of the most underestimated habits affecting men's stamina. Deep restorative sleep is when testosterone is produced, when growth hormone is released, and when the body repairs the microscopic damage of the day. Yet many men in their 70s live with untreated sleep apnea or fragmented sleep, due to poor routines or excessive screen time late at night. Even a few nights of inadequate sleep can lower testosterone, blunt energy, and impair vascular function. I encourage men to prioritize a consistent bedtime, a dark and cool sleep environment, and, if necessary, undergo a sleep study to rule out apnea. Fixing sleep alone can often feel like unlocking a hidden reserve of energy. Nutrition is another key habit. The old saying, "You are what you eat," becomes especially true with age. Men who continue to rely on processed foods, high sugar intake, and excess alcohol see not only weight gain but also inflammation and hormonal disruption. In contrast, a diet rich in vegetables, lean protein, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates fuels the body for energy and performance. Hydration plays its part as well. Dehydration thickens the blood, stresses the heart, and lowers endurance. Something as simple as drinking enough water throughout the day can make a noticeable difference in stamina. Movement is essential, not just structured exercise but also daily activity. Men in their 70s who sit most of the day often struggle with stiffness, poor circulation, and declining muscle strength. The body thrives when it moves, and incorporating regular walks, stretching, resistance training, or even recreational activities like swimming or golf helps maintain flexibility and blood flow. The goal is not to train like an athlete, but to move enough to keep the muscles and joints active and the cardiovascular system engaged. Stress management is another lifestyle factor that cannot be ignored. Chronic stress keeps cortisol elevated, which suppresses testosterone, disturbs sleep, and promotes abdominal weight gain. Many men underestimate how much stress drains their stamina, until they begin practicing simple techniques such as mindfulness, breathing exercises, or even taking time for enjoyable hobbies. When stress is controlled, energy and performance naturally improve. Finally, consistency is the glue that holds lifestyle habits together. A single workout or one night of good sleep will not transform stamina, but consistent routines practiced daily accumulate into long-term resilience. The men I see who thrive in their 70s are not necessarily the ones with perfect genetics or the most advanced medical treatments. They are the men who build small, sustainable habits and stick with them. Over time, those habits protect hormone balance, preserve cardiovascular health, and create a level of stamina that makes each morning feel stronger. I see. You'd like me to continue the same style and create a fourth keynote expansion. Since the first three were hormonal health, cardiovascular health, and lifestyle habits, the natural fourth pillar that Dr. Mohit Khera often emphasizes is mental and emotional health. Because stamina and performance after 60 aren't only physical, they're also psychological. Here's the expansion, around 500 words, in his tone and continuous flow without headings or bullet points. When it comes to stamina and performance in men over the age of 60 or 70, mental and emotional health often determine how the body responds to challenges. Too often, men focus solely on the physical side, testosterone levels, diet, exercise, without acknowledging the critical role that the mind plays. The truth is, the brain is the central driver of performance. Confidence, motivation, stress resilience, and emotional stability all shape how strong and energized a man feels each morning. A body that is physically capable can still underperform if the mind is weighed down by anxiety, depression, or lack of purpose. One of the most powerful factors I see in older men is mindset. Men who believe that aging inevitably equals decline tend to slow down, stop challenging themselves, and lose confidence in their abilities. On the other hand, men who view aging as an opportunity to refine their health, sharpen their habits, and embrace new goals often outperform their peers. That mental framing directly affects hormonal balance, sleep quality, and even cardiovascular function, because the body responds to optimism and resilience in measurable ways. Positive mental health lowers cortisol, reduces inflammation, and strengthens immune function, all of which feed back into stamina. Depression and anxiety are more common in older men than most people realize, and they can silently erode stamina. A man who feels persistently fatigued or unmotivated may not just be dealing with low testosterone or poor circulation. He may be struggling with untreated depression. Unfortunately, many men are reluctant to discuss these issues or seek help, believing that mental health challenges are a sign of weakness. In reality, addressing depression or anxiety through therapy, support groups, or even medication when necessary can completely transform quality of life and restore performance in ways that no supplement ever could. Social connection is another critical piece of the puzzle. Men in their 70s often face isolation due to retirement, loss of friends, or reduced mobility. Isolation increases stress hormones and accelerates both cognitive and physical decline. On the other hand, men who stay socially engaged, whether through volunteering, hobbies, community groups, or simply maintaining strong family ties, show better stamina, stronger immune systems, and greater emotional resilience. The human body is wired to thrive in connection, not in solitude. Stress management also plays a major role in mental health. Chronic worry and unresolved emotional strain keep the body in a constant state of tension. This not only lowers testosterone but also damages vascular function and disturbs sleep, creating a cycle of fatigue and poor performance. Simple practices like meditation, journaling, or daily breathing exercises can help men calm the nervous system and shift out of stress mode. Many of my patients are surprised at how much more energy and focus they gain once they start managing stress intentionally. Ultimately, mental and emotional health give meaning to the physical work a man does on his